Hello, welcome to R&R, where bad media from the past needs a beating. Now we're continuing again with this painfully long Digimon Emperor story arc, okay? You know?
Our heroes come back from the digital world and back to the real one. They've actually... You're never gonna know how many times they're actually gonna do this. I mean, that's pretty much what they mostly do throughout this second season. They go back to the digital world, and then go back into the real world, so that they could give some time to relax with, in a home with indoor plumbing, along with everything they take to granted, and go back to school. And then they continue doing it again, like around 10 more times or so.
I mean, have the writers forgot the time difference in the digital world versus the real world? It's pretty big! So what's the point of this plan? What's the point? I think it's just an attempt for the writers to throw more stupid subplots on top of what can really happen. Just to get away with it. Just to get away with stuff that no one even cares about.
Either you stay in the digital world until the mission's done, or it's installed to your other computer!
It's from your league. There's a digi-egg nearby. We're going to keep cooking. Going to keep cooking? Well, whatever you're making, be sure and save me some. Sorry, it was a typo. We're going to keep looking.
Hey, Tubbs! I just lost my drinking jam!
And then Izzy finally comes up with a brilliant idea to get that application or program to allow them to get into the digital world.
Whoa! A digiport is opened in America.
Duh! He's a fucking computer genius! Why couldn't he figure that out? Oh god, it's the egghead again! The King Lear dinosaur egghead, whatever the hell that thing is back!
I think you kids are trying to skip out on the deal.
I told you, we have $87.
Only Digi-Dollars, or the Digi-Express.
Oh no! I found a dog! This dog keeps running into my store. It keeps stealing my things and eating them. She's not going to pay.
You never tell them what the fuck Digi-Dollars are. I mean, they're dollars. Pay for them. I mean, if he's being a douchebag, just smack that guy up. I mean, he has no arms. And he doesn't even seem threatening to you. You can just grab a chainsaw or baseball bat and crack his yoke and you kill him. And then a surprise visit by Mimi and some other guy.
This is Michael. He's a friend of mine I brought with me from America.
I mean, look how young this guy looks compared to Mimi. I mean, why the hell does Mimi have stars glued to her hair? I mean, along with giving her a look with a mix between lightning from Final Fantasy 13 and strawberry fucking shortcake. Why the hell did she think of this in the first place? Later on, she dyes her hair back to her natural color, and you never see it pink for the rest of the series. But it's not long until one of those springs, and you guessed it, takes control of Digitamamon. And then he goes berserk and his eyes disappear.
Hey, watch where you're going, you egghead! Look where you're going,
And of course, they free them by having one of the Digimon digivolve into something different than what they normally do. And that's the reason behind having more than one crest with two of the characters here. Well, I think the writers actually didn't have that much new characters going on to the main team, and so they wanted to combine characteristics with other two characters for some of the new characters. So this is what they did. Before we cut to more trouble in more random city. Oh my god, I'm inside the Jar Jar Binks frog! The Digimon Emperor controls the camera!
Seriously, what the fuck is up with those awful angles and really fast close-up animation?
And then they invade, and then they come to rescue a town with the Digimon Emperor is controlling more Digimon with that have more pointless names. And so after the Jar Jar Binks frogs help the kids escape through the sewers into this guy's palace. I mean, I forgot his name. I don't tend to bother. He's like a guy with a pregnant stomach. I mean, the fat fucker has his belly button taped shut, so it makes perfect sense. But of course, there's this new subplot in episode 17 where a ghost is corrupting the media centers at the TV station for reasons that are just physically impossible, as you'll see right here.
Time that shadow does something completely different, I give up.
And this was my first time as a director.
Take a look at those monitors. See, it's not just us. That creepy shadow is on every program on this TV station.
And you've checked for technical difficulties?
This isn't technical, boss.
Then what is it, smart guy?
A ghost.
How am I supposed to tell my boss that I can't get my show on the air because of a ghost?
Please don't judge. I chase ghosts down the halls.
But meanwhile, TK takes a visit to Matt's apartment, and until his dad comes home and just all eccentric and stuff like that, to share just an over-the-top story of what went on at work today or something. And you're not gonna believe this, the way what he uses to cope with all the stress.
What's up with the CD player? It's a soothing recording of buffaloes migrating.
Oh, I'm sorry. That statement was just so stupid. I just couldn't get over myself. I promise I won't do that again. Sorry. That was just the stupidest thing I've heard yet!
CD recording of buffalo stampedes.
Buffalo? Yeah, I heard these recordings help with stress. I'm a happy little buffalo.
A coconut instrument that plays the same monotonous note all over again. It deals with stress when it's really repetitive.
How could you come up with something lamer than this? I mean, who would just have buffalo noises put on a CD on the fucking market? I mean, you've got to be fucking retarded to buy this. I mean, it would only come in use if you gave it the same treatment as the Randy Newman's pointless songwriting.
Buffalo, they like running around in the herd field while they stomp their feet. Buffalo, they really suck at football as they keep on losing and I run out of words.
You guys have a date to do fractions? What gives?
No, Davis, that's a date, not a fraction. Tomorrow marks the anniversary of when the Digidestined defeated my Otismon. I believe it's already been 4 years since we went into the digital world. It seems like yesterday.
But when they finally get the digital world opener to other people's own personal computers in the room, they try to have a more pointless subplot to cover it up. The older kids go camping! I'm not kidding!
Then we all have to agree on one thing. We don't return until the base is destroyed.
Huh? You mean? I don't know. If I'm not there for my mom's tuna casserole, she'll know something's wrong. I haven't missed one in 2 years.
Just make up some excuse to tell her something.
With all these control spires in the digital world, there's no way our Digimon will ever be able to digivolve.
That means that us older kids would be useless if we go to the digital world with you guys.
That's true, Matt, but there are other ways we can help out without actually going with them. Like camping. While you guys go to the digital world, the rest of us will go on a camping trip.
Huh?
Where there's already a huge time difference between the digital world and the real world on how it flows. I mean, we showed it in the first season where just 2 months only equaled 10 fucking minutes. I mean, there's no point in doing this and hiding from your parents. I mean, you could jump right on the fucking computer without your parents even knowing where you have been and what the fuck has happened.
What? You want me to go camping with you? Please, Dad, I already promised the others you would do it. Just think of it. Being out in the wilderness among all the snakes and the wolves and the grizzly bears. It'll be fun.
Okay, first off, Matt, Guys live in Japan. There are no fucking grizzly bears there. I mean, the stereotypes just never go on. I mean, you must have your head floating around in another world. I mean, I've explained this before on my top 5 stupidest Digimon moments. But they do this just to probably hide their secret computer hacking information by going out in the middle of nowhere. Which again makes no sense because there's no internet access, let alone 3G and 4G networks that you can hook up to your smartphone nowadays. I mean, there's none of that in 2002. I mean, why would you put something there and no explanations even when the digital world is not involved to hook up to the fucking internet? But there's just more pointless subplots with this crazy fangirl who wants to stalk Matt all the time, and she's just wondering what they're doing, and then she tries to run into them. I mean, she even does this for a fucking camping trip, and yet...
Hi there, Matt. I'm ready.
Huh? Isn't that Davis's sister? What's she doing here?
I have no idea.
Well, see what you can do to get rid of her, okay?
Right.
And yet she's even retarded enough to actually fall for Matt's stupid trick. So that he could just get away from her while going to the fucking campsite.
Where do I sit?
First I have a present to give you.
Huh? Me?
Yeah, but it's in the car and I didn't get a chance to wrap it, so close your eyes and count to 10 and I'll be right back with your present, okay?
I mean, you can just, I don't know, drive right past her and just ignore her. Tell her to fuck off. But nope, she's actually even more determined to just follow them and hitchhike to the campground. And so, while they're at the campsite, the kids are fighting in the digital world to stop the Digimon Emperor.
Let's dig a little further. This thing is enormous. It makes Texas look like Rhode Island.
I mean, you live in a digital world where a bunch of weird shit happens. I mean, you can only see that if you've never seen an impossibly levitating giant rock before. If you lived in the digital world your whole life, you've gotta see much weirder shit than that.
It makes Texas look like Rhode Island. It has to be the Digimon Emperor's base.
And then, oh, lad, they don't succeed.
So now what?
We have 2 options. Quit or give up. Because nothing will stop him until he runs out of gas.
Huh? Runs out of gas.
But Cody somehow comes up with an idea by pulling the plug to the pipeline and just letting all the oil out.
And how can it be and how can that be its fuel source if it doesn't really seem to be connected to it unless it fuels up, unless there's actually a fuel pump if there's actually a gas pump there to fuel it. You know, like a typical gas station. And how would they know if they've never found that out? There's just way too many plot holes here. See, this is the problem with this series. They just throw shit in there, whether it connects to the real world or the digital world, and they just go with it. And people like this show. I abhor you guys who actually went by the so-called logic of this show and believed it. Find these dub writers! Boycott them!
Using the oil spill as a massive weapon. No explanation, it's just there.
Where'd these flames come from?
Aw, damn it. I knew I shouldn't have gone over that oil pipe if I knew it was made from BP. It's prone to spew oil everywhere and light my fortress on fire. And so this gives them a head to just jump right into the fortress effortlessly and then getting onto a fist fight. Until they could just knock the Digimon Emperor into his senses because his real identity is Ken. Yes, one of the Digidestins, Ken, the boy genius who's just on the fucking news all the time with his parents portraying him as a fucking poster child. That's this guy. And you'll basically find out the reason on how he became so heartless and the background of his gifted character. It all has to do with his older brother Sam, who he was completely jealous over. And wouldn't that be a surprise? His parents treated him the same way as they are right now. I mean, take a look at this.
Cousin has a friend that knows someone that says says your little Sam is the smartest boy in school. Can I get my picture taken with him? I have 3 daughters I'd like him to meet.
Have you decided to be a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon?
Where can I get his autobiography?
You and your husband are geniuses to have had him.
Can I get a lock of his hair? I'd like to have him cloned.
Will he sing at my wedding?
Those kind of comments went straight to my mom's head.
Oh, Sam! Mama, all the neighbors came up to me again and said what a wonderful boy you are. One of them even asked me for an autograph. Can you believe it?
And you can kind of see the connection that his hairstyle as a Digimon Emperor is almost identical to that of his older brother. And can't you guess what his crest is? Is it one from one of the old characters? Nope. You'll be stunned from what you're about to hear.
It's the crest of kindness.
There must be some mistake. I've been anything but kind.
Kindness? You're kidding me? Is that what you just pulled a new crest out of your ass to just... Why? I mean, we've seen this before, right? Somewhere. But somehow his crest of kindness brings back his buddy Wormmon back from the grave as a young baby all over again. And thus we can go into our next story arc.
And that's it for part 2. Stay tuned for the other 2 parts of our crazy second season. This is Milo Nama signing off.
It makes Texas look like Rhode Island.